Welcome back to the Battery Podcast. I'm Aiden,
And I'm Casey.
and it is very nice to be back after quite the hiatus. I think our last episode was a awards and quarterfinal prediction, so quite a lot's happened in the PLL world since then. I guess first and foremost, we'll say congrats to the New York Atlas. Um, that was a fantastic game. Definitely the two best teams throughout the season that were playing in that championship. So, and that end, you can't complain. Um, And obviously, we wish a full and speedy recovery to Xander Dixon.
Hmm.
Not sure we'll see him in the Champ Series in February, but hopefully he'll be back out there in June.
I'd be very surprised if we did.
Yeah. Yeah, we were watching that together when that happened, and wow.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah, congrats
just
to the
utter
Atlas.
shock.
I know. But yeah, they've been in the hump for or in that, they hadn't gotten over the hump rather in a long
Hmm.
time, not even gotten to a game. So it was cool in that sense. I'm never gonna be sad about a team winning their first championship, and
Yeah.
like Heat to win and Schellenberger's and well Entenmann won two in college. Excuse me. Entenmann won two in college, so he's had somewhat of a winning pedigree, but then
Yeah.
yeah, just
And
across the board.
Baptiste.
Oh, Baptiste, I believe that was his first professional championship. So got a gold medal, but his first professional championship.
Yeah.
Um yeah, so congrats to all of them. And you've got to think that the Outlaws are going to be back, if not next year, like many years.
With a vengeance.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a roster that is poised to do well for quite a while. I don't
Hmm.
think I've seen one player turn a team around quite like Logan McNaney did for them in
Mm,
2025. Um, they looked not very good, and then he came in and just
yeah.
shut it down on the yeah, and then obviously Bernhardt coming in the offensive end. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Once, I think we talked about it in the very beginning of the season, um, about if they figured it out, then they would be a top contender. And they figured it out.
they sure did.
And yeah, so they definitely deserve their flowers. Um, Even if it hurts a little bit to say so, but
Yeah.
they definitely do. Congrats to them for making it to the championship. Um, but yeah, congrats to the Atlas. They clearly deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and then let's pivot to the news that broke the day that we are recording this, which is Friday. Um, there's a new GM, and no, it's not because a coach got fired. Dave Cottle, who MLL fans will recognize as a longtime coach and
Hmm.
GM with the Bayhawks, is the GM of the Philadelphia Water Dogs, and Bill Tierney is staying on as the coach. So, um, yeah, Casey, when you saw this, what were your thoughts? Like surprised or pleased or
I think a part of me wasn't surprised only because we kind of expect this to continue to happen with all of the teams eventually, where they will be getting GMs. At least that's what we assume. Um, but I mean, he has, I think it's upwards of like literally 40 years of experience
yeah,
in all different capacities. So, um, he's got a ton of experience. I I think it's gonna be good. Not that I want them to win, of course, but I think it's gonna be good for them though and the coaching staff.
yeah. I feel like obviously the two guys need to agree, but I think if like on philosophy and general scheme and that type of thing for it to be successful. But I think if you can
Hmm.
make the coach's job just worrying about putting the lineup on,
Coaching.
yeah, just about coaching and winning the games, and not have to navigate contracts and things like
Yeah.
that. Just makes that job a lot easier. So.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I listened to an interview with Rachel DeCecco from a couple months ago, and I think that was a question that came up, which she, of course, kind of hemmed and hawed. But you have to think this is in the works, and I don't know. I wonder if we're going to see another one come out before the start of the next season. And
My gut tells me we will.
yeah,
I'm not sure what team I think is going to be next, but I definitely think that we will see another announcement. before the next season starts.
Yeah, and I'm curious, it made sense with the two coaches being, fired, let go, whatever, last year, that all right, this was something that was in the works. Let's just sweep it and put two guys in that role. Now that you have one where it's just a person being added, I wonder if they're going to try to get all eight teams done, not by June, obviously, because that's too late, but by
Right.
February, by March, so that they can be in place, or if there's still going to be this kind of hybrid situation. And at what point, like, is there going to be a point where it's just one team that only has the coach and GM being the same guy? Or if it's going to be, yeah, if we're going to find by like, if it's just going to be this in 2025 and then in 2026, the other five will get filled. Like, I wonder, I'm sure they
Mm,
would like it to happen as soon as possible, but I don't know the extent to which they can like force one of the current guys to either pick which one he wants to do or step down and replace him.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it won't all be complete before by February or even June. I think it might be a little bit slower than that, but I mean, I can only imagine there's a lot that goes into it and finding, I don't know, I feel like if if and when Holman coach gets a GM for the Cannons, I feel like just based off what we've seen and talks with him, I feel like he would already have somebody in mind, or
Yeah.
at least a couple of people,
Yeah.
that he would want, and he knows that he will work well with and he trusts.
Yeah. Because that's another question. Like, I assume Tierney was involved in this hiring process, but to what extent, did he initiate this? Did the league tell him he had to? And then to what extent did he have say on who he was going to work with? I think will be fascinating, if we're able to get whether it's DeCecco or one of the Rabels or someone else higher up to ask about that process and when we might expect a GM in Boston. And if like,
Yeah.
so Tierney stayed on as the coach, I wonder if any of the current coach GMs will pick being a GM or if they all want to stay being coach. Um,
Hmm.
I feel
Yeah.
like they'd pick being a coach because that feels like, I don't know, it's the more hands-on job. Maybe it's a little bit more fun. But I
Yeah.
theoretically, if you offer it to enough people, maybe one of them would prefer that kind of people side or management side of it. Um,
Hmm. Could also depend on where someone is in their career, I think,
Very
too.
true.
Like, how long have they been coaching, and do they want to take that different role?
Yeah. And as well with that, like the travel. So you think of like, I
Hmm.
know Spallina talked about not needing to be at every weekend. Of course, he was there some of the time, and I saw him at Fairfield. I think he was at Harvard as well. Um,
Yeah.
but you wonder if like
Yeah,
that's
we
one of
saw
the
him a
factors.
couple times.
Yeah. You got to figure if he's still based in New York. Maybe he wasn't flying to Utah and to San Diego. I thought that was their homecoming weekend. Anyway, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So you got to think this was in the cards or in the works for several months before it
Hmm.
got announced today. So I wonder, like, I feel like if we don't see these, like, if they're not all in place by the new year, we're probably not going to get a whole new crew. Let me see if I can find real quickly when um these changes all came about um, last year to give a sense of the
Hmm.
timeline. It feels like it would have been around this time. Let's see, Joe Spallina hiring. They hired it. Oh, March 18th was when it happened. So I was completely wrong. Um,
Was gonna say I didn't remember seeing any of them at Champ Series
well,
at
the
all.
team didn't make Champ Series. And I wonder if that's a factor
True.
too, if like they're not gonna hire it for the teams that are going to Champ Series because that like roster selection process is probably already mostly done. Um,
Hmm.
although we did also see that announcement.
Yeah, I was gonna
Players,
say I don't know.
yeah, players can sign as free agents just for Champ Series or for
Mhm. The
Champ
season.
Series and the season,
Hmm.
which will be very. I mean, that's kind of happened already, because of NLL obligations. Some players on or just, other coaching obligations. Like Zach Goodrich hasn't been able to play because he has to coach with Bryant. And congrats to him for getting promoted to defensive coordinator there. Uh,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah. So that all being said, like players are signed just for training camp, so or just for champs.
Hmm.
So um, that doesn't
I
feel.
will say,
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you.
I when I was reading about it, I saw the WLL one first, and I was just getting so excited
Yeah,
about the upcoming season, the first inaugural regular season for the WLL teams. Um, and I was just thinking back on when we were at Champ Series last year and getting to see all the teams play for the first time, and for the response that all the fans had. And I think of that picture of Charlotte
yeah,
when she was like just in this massive crowd signing. Um, I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. I can't wait for us to get to talk about them and the Cannons this coming season.
yeah. That's gonna be fantastic. I mean, we need to up the either the length or the frequency of these episodes, but I am more than happy to do that. Um, Yeah, they are so. Yeah, I'm so excited. There's finally a full season of that as well, and
Yeah.
obviously, Boston's going to be the defending champs in the WLL Champ Series. So
Hmm.
even though obviously the Cannons won't be there, we'll still have a Boston team to cheer on, and
Hmm.
probably the best player, women's player right now, if not all time, on our squad. So.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, all right. Let's pivot. So we put out on Instagram a couple times like thoughts and things you wanted to talk about. Um, and let's see, where do we want to begin? We can go with possible MVP candidates for this upcoming year from Deco 40 Lax. I mean, that's tough to predict because I mean we saw well Pat Cavanaugh was hurt for a lot of last year, but I think there'll be a rookie maybe who's an MVP candidate. You got to feel like everyone who was a finalist this year is going to be a finalist again next year with what O'Neill and Kavanaugh and Teat and Schellenberger and geez, I can't even remember who the other finalist was. Um, oh goodness, this is terrible. Um,
It's been a little bit, guys.
yeah, it has, but I mean, just we talk so much about the talent
Hmm.
that anyone. I don't want just the winners. I want the finalists.
It was definitely like stiff competition, stacked um candidates for sure. I feel like this past season, it just like by the end of the season with the talent that's out there on the field, it just felt different.
Oh, Sours.
Like it's oh, we can't forget Sours, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I just feel like I don't know, I feel like the PLL got brought to a new level after this last season. I don't know how you, not that we plan to necessarily talk about that, but that's just something that came to mind. I feel like we're just at a different level than we were before, and in a great way.
Yeah, it's absolutely still growing, and I do think it's only going to continue to grow. So I mean, to answer that question of like MVP finalist predictions, I mean, like the best like three players on every team probably, but then also somebody you won't expect, right? Like Nolting had a down year. I certainly think he can and will bounce back,
Yeah.
shooting the ball better. You never know, like Holman, if he decides this is his last year, he's got that dad strength now. Maybe he just goes, I
Congratulations.
know. Maybe he sets the record for 2-pointers in a season or something like that.
Yeah.
Campbell, obviously, we've seen Schreiber win it. You got to think Blaze Reardon's going to do it if Jackson Eicher or Owen Hiltz gets a full season. Like, what
Mm,
could Owen Hiltz do if he'd played all 10 games? Um, I mean, that Archer's
yeah.
attack, they're all healthy. They all feel loaded. Uh,
Right.
TJ Malone, like if the Whips can put things together a little bit better. Um, who else on their roster? I mean, oh, Aiden Carroll, Matt Trainer, um, Matt Brandow. I mean, like, I don't
Yeah.
know him.
There's
And
a huge list. I
yeah,
mean,
Uh,
There's just so much talent out there.
yeah, I just because I haven't shouted out anyone from the Woods yet, feel like we gotta do that. So I mean, Chris Kavanaugh, obviously rookie of the year.
Yeah.
You got to assume he's going to carry that forward. Maybe Garnsley's got one, maybe not, but like
Mm,
maybe Dylan Malloy if he's got that. Um, I don't know. They're no, I'm not going to sell anyone short there. I feel like Chris Kavanaugh of anyone in the Woods is the most likely to win MVP.
hmm
But I mean, if Baptiste and Greg Gorenlian have won it, why couldn't TD Erlin win it too? Um,
True.
maybe we'll get a defensive. Maybe like Jared Connors will hit like 8 2-pointers and he'll be the MVP as an LSM. Uh, Yeah, who knows? Or maybe it is going to be a rookie. I don't know. A rookie hasn't won it yet. I don't think that happened in the MLL either, but they play long enough, it'll happen for someone.
That's
Uh,
true.
let's see. We got from Lost in Wans, we got a couple. Want us to talk about Bubba, which we definitely will in a minute, when we talk about free agents, and then draft picks. I think Lost in Wans also suggested taking Aiden McGuire, which does seem to be a little bit at odds with Bubba Fairman.
Mm,
Because I do think Abe Maguire is one of the best prospects, but I haven't taken a thorough look at the draft so far
hmm
as who the best prospects
Yeah.
are. And I don't know the D mid room if Bubba's healthy feels a little crowded already with him, Ramsey, Goodrich, and Trainer.
Right. Um, yeah, time will tell. I mean, we haven't really heard much of anything about Bubba. Obviously, we really want to see him back. Um, but I haven't really heard anything.
Yeah, I know. In their last episode, Hartzell and Ratliff kind of teased some guys in the cannons might not be coming back. And I know they know Bubba. I was kind of thinking more
Yeah.
that would be Garrett Epple, which also congratulations to him for getting married.
Yeah. Yes.
Um,
Congrats.
yeah, I would also
Lots
say
of
that
great things
one.
going on in the off
Yeah.
season for our guys.
Um, I mean, who they're going to draft, I genuinely have no idea. It feels like the defensive side of the ball, they needed a little that and like a dodging midfielder are their biggest needs going into the draft. Um, I don't know who that's going to be yet, so I'll punt on that question for now. But
Yeah.
I'll definitely have an answer for you in like February
Yeah.
and after that.
Just a couple months.
Yeah, a few. It's going to feel so long, but it'll be here. Um, yeah. Other fan questions that we want to respond to.
Well, I mean, not that I want to, but I'll put more underscore Micah says why the Whips are going to win the championship in 2026. Micah,
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah.
No,
It
listen, they fought hard, yes, but I mean, I just you're not going to hear me.
no. They obviously have a good roster. I think Aiden Carroll was fantastic.
Yeah,
Nardella is still great. Colin Squires really
yeah,
came into his own as an elite LSM, but I just don't think they have the depth that they did in 2019 and 2020.
hmm
It was really cool to see Brand succeed so much after getting pretty much shelved immediately as soon as he got to Philadelphia.
mm,
And you never know who they're going to take in the draft. Like maybe they'll take players that fill all their needs and they wind up, going 10 and 0. Who knows? But at the
yeah,
moment, I don't. I would have to think like New York and Denver would still be the betting favorites
hmm
before anyone, pending the draft and someone getting hurt in training camp, whatever. Knock on wood.
yeah,
So sorry,
yeah.
Micah. We know you're not winning champ series. One, because you're not there, and two, because your coach hates it. And I don't think you're winning. I don't think you're winning 2026. But that's why they got to go out and play the games.
um, Now here's one that I'm a little bit more excited to say. It's from our very own Jack. And he said the Cannons, why are the Cannons going to go from worst to first in 2026?
Oh, there we go.
I think
That
that's the best question we've gotten.
absolutely. Yeah. So I mean, we could take it as blatant homerism, or we could take it as what do they need to improve on to do
Right.
that. I would
Right.
say better face-off play first and foremost.
Yes.
I think you need
Yes.
You need, if not to know, at least to believe that tie game, 30 seconds to go, you're going to get the ball.
Yeah.
Um, or whether that's Zach Tucci or whether that's someone else, I'm
Yeah.
fine either way. But they got to get better at that first and
Hmm.
foremost. I think a second year with the same coordinator is going to help regardless. I think we heard Tierney talk about it. I think Holman's talked about it, Coach Holman, that is. Like coaching in the pros versus coaching in college is just very, very
Hmm.
different. Like you have to operate, it's a much smaller roster, it's a faster game. You don't have as much time together to practice, obviously, basically no time together to practice. So to know how to coach that effectively and install the plan effectively, I think takes some getting used to. And I think we saw improvements towards the end of the year, but not obviously not enough. Um, so I think just a second year
Yeah.
of John O'Derna and Jack Kilty working together, I think is going to be very helpful. I also think the Cannons are going to make defensive improvements. Um,
Hmm.
like I said, I wouldn't mind if Apple decided to hang him up, um, because I think the defense just didn't look as fleet-footed. It felt like they were playing catch up for a lot of the time they were on defense. Um, and as well, I think that Champ Series made them like fatigued still going to the year. I'm not sure if everyone was really healthy.
Oh, no, they weren't.
Yeah. So,
No.
Jeff's legs will be fine. Matt Campbell's arm will be fine.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Marcus Holman's like ribs or whatever, or spine, whatever he hurt, will be okay.
Mm. Hmm.
Um, so I feel a lot better about that team in general. And then I
Hmm.
think Jules Henningberg as well was a great addition mid-season.
Yeah.
So him playing a full year and maybe even still, because you think what the midfield this season, assuming players come back, will be Campbell, Drenner, Henningberg, Connor Kirst, and then that fifth spot is a little bit up for grabs. Like maybe if we're playing Manny and McAsee, it'll be McAsee. Maybe it'll be Brian Kelly or Mick Kelly, sorry. Um, maybe it'll be Graydon Hogg. Maybe it'll be a rookie. Maybe it'll be a trade.
Hmm.
Um, But Campbell's, of course, your number one initiator. Drenner's like a little bit of a do-it-all. Um,
Yeah.
but another like elite dodging scoring threat feels like what's missing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. We, yeah. There's, we'll get, as the season gets closer, we'll be talking more and more about like what we want to see come through the draft and what kind of changes we want to see. I feel like there are definitely a few things that we can talk about. But there are a lot of pending free agents
yes.
from our team. I did not realize until we were talking about it earlier how many. Um, so I can just go through the list, I guess, because there's that many to go through. Um, TJ Comizio, Drenner, Eppel, Fairman, Geppert, Gittleman, Owen Grant, Henningberg, Hogg, Connor Kirst, Will Manny, and Zach Tucci.
Yeah. So I feel like we can group those into like the expect them to leave slash don't mind if they leave, the somewhat neutral, and the man they better come back, or we think they're going to
Yeah.
come back. Um, so
Um, yeah,
yeah,
go
where
ahead.
which list would you like to start with, and who do you think belongs on it?
We can start with I'll say they better come back.
Yeah. Um,
um, for me, Drenner's got to be number one. I think I would be crushed if he did not return.
yeah,
But I would also be very surprised if he did not return.
likewise.
Um, yeah. And then, I mean, with Gittleman, I don't feel like, even though I know he doesn't play really, I also don't see him quite retiring yet either.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It doesn't really make complete sense to me for him to like stay, but it also, I think like he's had such a huge role in helping develop Kirsty that I would be surprised if he announced like retirement. I don't really expect him to go to another team. I think he would just retire.
Yeah. I really,
Um,
that's the least likely outcome is get him in
yeah,
with someone else.
yeah,
Is it,
um,
we've heard players talk, he's like basically just a coach at this point who
yeah,
happens to play goalie sometimes. So that feels like he's got a job as the backup goalie as long as he wants it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I feel like if he hasn't announced his retirement yet, he's probably coming back for another year.
yeah. Um, I would say Manny would be in that same category, you know. Um, I think I think he's got a little bit more time
Yeah,
left to play for sure. I would really like to see him come back. I can't see him going to another team.
no.
I think it'd be the same thing. Either he would retire or he would come back for another year or two.
And hopefully
Excuse me.
mentor Coulter as well. Like
Yeah.
I would not mind if his and Brian Holman's agreement was like, um, we are like you're here for a year. You're gonna teach Coulter everything you can teach him. You're gonna score as many goals as you can, and then you're gonna
Yeah.
go be with your family and coach that team in Utah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then let's see who would you add to that list, that first list?
I mean, I think both because of him as a player and because of how he came to the Cannons, Owen Grant's got to be up there. Like after one trading away your first round pick from a year before for a guy who at that point had played 3 career games, and then that guy you traded away having an MVP caliber season. Uh, if you only get 1 year out of that player you got back, no, it was a good year, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, that that feels like a must. And Coach said when we talked to him that Grant is all in on the Cannons. Obviously, really hope that's true. He's also like the NLL Transition Player of the Year. So you hope he's not also swayed north with summer box under the table payments, um, because that would be a really painful loss, both in terms of what that would mean for the trade and for um, the hole he would fill on the roster. Because we
Yeah.
didn't see John Geppert at all in a year. It's tough to really evaluate him based on that, but yeah, he'd be a downgrade, and I think the Cannons would for sure be looking to replace him if he did not come back. So, um, I agree with Drenner and Gittleman and and Manny as far as like we really want them and think they will come back, but Grant is the
Hmm.
number one in my perspective of like we need him to come back.
Yeah.
Um, And then because I mentioned it by accident, I think the other player on that list is Connor Kirst.
Yeah.
Where again, it feels like as long as his brother's a starting goalie here, he's probably got a spot, unless like he and Holman have some huge falling out, or yeah, I really can't think of anything else. Or unless the Cannons are just really, really terrible and he wants to win. But I don't see either of those things happening. So I feel like that's pretty safe. And
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a lot of 1 year deals in the PLL, so I'm not overly concerned. It does feel like he's going to be back. But there's that little bit of anxiety until he actually signs the contract.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Um, all right, so then
Obviously, we would like Bubba to be in that first list, but we just have no idea what the status is on that. So that's kind of up in the air.
yeah,
Um,
definitely
but
would
yeah,
like
we
him
can.
again, but it also feels like they played a whole year without him and did all right. Now I think Trainer obviously didn't have as good of a year as he did last year, um, but I mean he had a like
Yeah.
SSDM of the year season, so
Yeah.
you'll never convince me he was not robbed of that award or even being a finalist.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway,
Yeah.
so the Cannons will be okay if he decides not to come back, or decides to retire, like whatever it is. But really hope that we're seeing him again. I don't
Hmm.
know how they'd address things on the room if you got the four of them and you're probably only addressing three because we haven't heard anything about PLL rosters expanding. But
Mm,
still, you want to have that good problem of too many talented players to dress.
true.
Um, all right, and then the okay
The
tier,
other list.
yeah. Um,
I
yeah,
mean, we've got to do some, I am sure you know where I'm going.
Yeah,
We have to do something about the face-off
yeah,
position. I don't know. I think Tucci is young and he is in great shape, but like we need more out of him.
yeah,
And I don't think that I saw really that much of a difference this last season than prior. And so what I'm hoping is that like in this off season, I'm hoping that I mean, I know that he's a finance guy. Um but and he's not local to Boston, but I'm really hoping that he is able to make some changes in his training and I'm trying to be nice.
yeah.
If
No,
you
I mean,
can't tell.
yeah, he wasn't good enough, right? Like if you were ranking the all the
Right.
face-off players in the league, like he would not be at the top. I just pulled up his stats. In 2024, he went 100 of 209, 47.8%, 4 points with 3 goals, or sorry, 2 1s, a two. Um, and yeah, no assists. And then this year he went 112 of 255, which is 43.9%. So it's basically 4% worse than last year. One more point because he got 3 1s and then a two. But I don't know, you need to be scoring a lot more than that for 43% to be
Right.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So Tooch, please, if you listen to it, listen, we're still rooting for you, but like you know what you got to do.
yeah, and yeah, again, we're obviously not rooting against him. Like if he comes out
Right.
next year and goes 52 and doesn't score at all, like we'll take that because we just
Hmm.
we'll feel a lot more confident that we're gonna be getting the ball. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
think
that would
we're
be number one for
yep,
me.
and number two,
Yeah. Yeah. And then let's see, looking at the list. Well, I mean, I feel kind of indifferent about Apple.
yeah,
Um, I know that he
um,
did just get married. I know we already mentioned that. Um, and he's played a long time.
yeah.
I
He
feel like
he's I mean he's
he,
30. Uh,
yeah,
he doesn't have a championship, so that feels like maybe that would keep him around for a
yeah,
little bit longer if he thinks the Cannons are going to win a championship, or if he can get a contract with another team that can.
yeah.
Um, he's defensive player of the year. He's got a bunch of all pros and all stars.
Hmm.
Um, so it just depends. But I think this as well was a down year for him. Um, I mean, wow, this was the fewest cause turnovers he's had since the bubble. So he played
Mm,
in four more games. He only had three more cause turnovers. Every other season in the PLL, he's had 20, 18, 19, 16, 23 the first year of the PLL, all in 10 games. And this year had 12. Which I mean, 12 cause turnovers is obviously great, but it's just, another example of just kind of being a little bit just
hmm.
not as explosive, not as elite as we expected. And I think part of that was probably also a factor from just the different scheme. It felt like the Cannons are trying something different on defense every week,
Yeah,
and that's not
true.
setting anyone up to succeed.
Mm,
So again, we're going to hold out
yeah,
hope and belief until we see otherwise that the back half of I mean, both sides of the ball really are going to make improvements if they got the second year under the same coaching staff and both the coaches understanding what they need to do better and then the players understanding that as well.
yeah,
Uh, Yeah, and then I feel like the whole other category is just like guys we didn't see very much of or at all. Like
yeah.
Braden Hogg was good when he played,
Hmm.
but it's just a tight roster to make. And I
Yeah,
absolutely like if the roster was 23, we would have seen him probably just about every week this season. But you draft Maxi fourth overall. You want to get Manny in, then and then of course you bring in Henneberg mid-season.
Hmm.
It's tough to crack a roster.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other two guys, TJ Comizio and John Geppert, like I we don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to assume they weren't as good as the players who were in the roster ahead of them, which is not to say they're not great players, but the league's full of great players. So
Hmm.
um, I'm sure Comizio and Geppert would have done well if they'd been given the chance, but yeah, we didn't see any of them, so it's hard to really clamor and want them back for that reason.
Right.
And I think that's everyone on the list. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
So
then we've got a list. It's a
yes,
short list so far, but we've got a list of some players who have re-signed. Um, so we've got Asher for another 2 years. So he signed through 2027. And then Marcus and Jack Keelty have both signed through 2026.
yes,
So very exciting that we're getting
yes.
those three back.
Does kind of feel like the three most important pieces. Marcus definitely feels like he's year to year,
Mm,
especially now that he's a dad. I know yeah, hopefully he's chasing a championship. It feels like if the Cannons had won,
yeah.
he would have just retired. Um,
Hmm.
but he's also, I gotta look at his career stats and just see how far behind he is in the total goals. Like if catching, I think it's Paul Rabel for most goals all time is important to him. Um, we'll see if
Hmm.
man, the stats website. There we go. Career leaders. Um,
I think it was like in the 20s or something, low 20s maybe.
yeah, well he's definitely not catching Paul Rabel in points, but total goals, yeah, he is John Grant Jr., sorry, has 393 and he has 359. So that is 40 no, it's 34 more goals to tie, which in a 10 game season would be a lot. Um,
Yeah.
I know
But go off, Marcus.
yeah, please, if he scored 34 goals, we would be ecstatic. And I think he only had, if not only, he had 14 this year, which was also a down year from him. Um, so maybe if he had been a little closer, that feels like it's still probably 2 seasons away. Again, unless he
Hmm.
has one of the all-time seasons. But yeah, it just feels like he's year to year. And then Kilty too. I mean, just a lot of these contracts are year to year. You figure maybe he's
Yeah.
just other obligations. I know he talked about wanting to join the military at some point in his life. You know,
Yeah.
when younger. So, hopefully that doesn't come calling, or I don't know, hopefully the draft doesn't come calling for him. Because we want him in a
Right.
Cannons uniform, not any other W uniform.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, you never know. It's certainly glad to see
Yeah.
the three guys back, and especially Knowlton on a
Yes.
bigger deal. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
he's upset at his performance this past season, and we'll fix that going forward.
Yeah. I have noticed since last season into, well, I'd say maybe even Champ Series to now, I feel like there's been a lot more media around him.
Hmm.
Maybe he's doing like more interviews, but he just seems, well, at first I'm loving seeing more media
Yeah,
that's involving him. But he just looks like he's having fun.
yeah,
Like, and I love it. Not that he wasn't having fun before, but I don't know. It just looks like he's just really like just having fun with it. And that is exciting to see because I love to see like that energy, right? And I know I definitely want to I really would love to have him come on the podcast if we could work that out with him, that would be really fun. I'd love to have him on. Um but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. I was watching earlier the street lacrosse that we just
yeah,
did in Atlanta, um, which is really awesome to see as well. We did a lot of different things with that. Um, and we also had the one earlier in the year too in New York. So looking forward to seeing where we're going to go next with that. I love like any of the community like outreach stuff. But yeah, he was all over that media
Hmm.
and was just he seemed like he was having a blast.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting to see when our guys are out there and like we get to see more from them. Um, especially when they're having fun.
Yeah, I think he has such star potential because we've talked about he's one of like three players to do like a 20 goal, 20 assist season, which is really not easy to do. Um, he's been mic'd up a bunch, and we've heard some good trash talk moments. We did the horns down when they beat the Atlas.
Yeah.
Um,
Amazing.
yeah, and he's just a fun personality. So, oh,
Hmm.
and his brother now is going to be I believe his brother's a freshman at Hopkins. So
Oh wow.
that'll be fun to watch, and hopefully he gets on the field and we get to see the younger Nolting. I can't remember his name at
Hmm.
the moment. Yeah, and that'll be fun too. I'm sure Asher will be at some of those games, cheering on
Hmm.
his brother. And I don't know. I got to check the Hopkins schedule if it's out. If they come up and play like BU or Harvard, we'll have to go to that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, okay, so I think we hit everything we had intended. Actually, do you wanna give the last prediction of who you think the last team without a GM will be, or the last team without separated roles, coach and GM?
Mm, I mean, I would say it's either us or the Archer. No. Mm, if we're thinking of maybe like ego, I would say maybe the Whips would be the last.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah, that or maybe the Archers. Nothing to do with ego for the Archers, but yeah. I think maybe I'll stick with the Whips. What about
Yeah.
you?
I do think it'll be the Archers because I think Stags and Holman. Well, I think Holman really likes his guys and wants to
Hmm.
support and bring them on. And so I think he enjoys he probably doesn't enjoy talking money with his son. But
True.
I wonder what that negotiation was like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has the relationships with his people.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, they're just up there. They're probably not going to be coaching as long. Not that Bates is like a young man, but I think he's a little bit younger. And you look at his track record in the draft. Just all the fantastic players he's found, right? Like Lavelle from this past year starting on that defense. Leclerc obviously bringing Trainer, Sizzleberger,
Hmm.
Dobson from a small school at St. Bonaventure. Yeah, he just drafts really well. So I feel like he can justify holding on to both for very long. Not that
Hmm.
yeah, I'm saying other coaches have done a bad job, but um, yeah, that's kind of like the talk is how well the Archers draft. So
Hmm.
that's my prediction, but. I don't know. I feel like even if they make the change, like even if it's all been decided already, that we're definitely not going to find out about all four or all five
Yeah.
remaining ones at the same time. So um, maybe it's already been decided, and technically none of them are GMs anymore or coaches anymore if they decided to be the GM instead, as we said. But yeah, no, we'll find out. I would say by the end of 2026, probably at this pace, it feels like. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be exciting. Yeah, I don't know. I really have no clue who I would want to be the Cannons GM. That is definitely an off-season topic we can dive into.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll have to go back into, I don't know, like find Brian Holman on LinkedIn and see who's been in touch with from his UNC coaching days or his Hopkins playing days or who knows.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, any other final thoughts before we leave our listeners here?
Reach out to us with some more questions. I want to kind of keep that going.
Yeah.
We'll always, as long as they're appropriate, we'll we'll always read them off on here
Sure.
and let us know who you want us to try to get on the pod to
Yeah.
interview. I know Kyle had I think Kyle had responded and said that he wanted to be on it, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm sure we'll probably have him on too. But yeah, let us know, guys. Um, yeah,
Yeah, we'll get some guard players on hopefully before Champ Series.
yeah,
And yeah, we'll try to recap and this somewhat disappointing 25 season and just figure out where those guys think that things are going to go in 2026.
yeah.
Um, all right, it's good to be back, as it always is,
Yes.
talking lacrosse, talking about the Cannons, and about the guard. So yeah, we'll be back in the pretty near future with another episode, hopefully with a lovely special guest. And until then, go Cannons.
Go Cannons.
Boom.
Boom.